Greetings, Ravens. Geo here. I've been getting quite a lot of comments regarding which weapon combination of the laser swap build is the overall best. Thus, in today's video, I will be discussing the pros and cons of each variation. The simple act of swapping between laser weapons leaves this build open to numerous interpretations of it. But we will only be discussing the 4 main laser swap builds I swap between for this video. Also, feel free to pause the video and screenshot each build whenever they appear on screen. In addition, there's one very interesting version of the laser swap build that uses the Walter rifles that will not be shown in this video. I will be making a dedicated build video on it next, so subscribe to see it as soon as it releases. First off, let's talk about the classic laser swap build we are currently using. The original laser swap build was created by a Japanese AC player who posted their build in my Discord server. The Redshift and LRB combination allows this build to be more tailored to fighting faster. Heavy ACs, such as heavy lambs, legs players, missile kite tanks, and heavy bipeds. This is due to its good stagger rate from the LRB and defense ignoring attacks from the Redshift. Terminal armor is also key to fighting heavy bipeds and tanks, since you are able to AB away whenever they activate their pulse armor, and AB chase them whenever your TA does go off. The downside of this build is that it has a hard time fighting lighter ACs. They are able to easily escape your TA, and you cannot easily AB away from their PA. With the dwindling population in ranked PvP matches, you will most likely have to fight the same person over and over again, which leaves them open to be counterpicked. And instead of having to play a whole different build, you can simply switch to a slightly modified version of the laser swap build that is most suited to fight such builds. Which leads us to the second laser swap build, the plasma rifle and redshift swap. This specialized swap is tailored to fight shield users, tanks, and any build that uses bazookas. Unlike the LRBs that overheat quickly, the plasma rifle does not, which allows a constant barrage of attacks to completely overwhelm your opponent. TA is featured on this build as well, given that this build is able to take advantage of the 5 seconds of invincibility, the most out of any of the laser swap builds. And of course, this build is the most reliable build to use for fighting tanks, on account of the fact that tanks have such a large AP pool that has to be burned through. The third laser swap build is the least used version of the laser swap build, considering that this laser swap build is a pure laser swap that is only good at fighting light ACs. Most ranked players heavily prefer heavy builds. Therefore, this build doesn't see a whole lot of use. However, some lamb leg players still exist. And to counter these speed junkies, this build does its best at landing shots on them. TA is quite useless against fast ACs, so this build utilizes pulse armor along with the VE-20C generator to give the lasers a little more damage to their attacks. Alula on this build also helps with surviving long enough against heavier builds, since this build does not have enough firepower to combat them head-on. People also still use light BVO builds at S ranks for whatever reason, and double lasers do a good job of taking them down with precision shots. The last featured laser swap build is the plasma rifle and LRB. This is my current preferred version of the laser swap build. The downside of the laser swap build is that it is vulnerable to high stagger builds. As a result, this build was created to counter such builds, considering that the LRB and plasma rifle combination gives it the highest amount of stagger build, along with AoE damage that builds up even when dodged. I use PA on this build, like the last build, in light of the fact that people are learning how to play against TA nowadays. Being a high stagger build means it's generally good against all builds encountered in AC6, but does not excel in any specific category. As a final note, you can still defeat light builds with a laser swap build, more suited to fighting heavier builds, and vice versa. In the end, it's really a matter of what builds you struggle the most against. Let me know in the comments below of what variant of the laser swap you prefer the most, and any interesting combinations you've tried out. I pour a lot of time into making commentary for my build videos, so don't forget to like and share this video. Feel free to leave your questions or suggestions in the comments below. We also have a Discord server you can join as well to share builds, get build advice, and test them out against fellow Discord members. And subscribe for more PvP videos.